There's something about the spiritual journey that feels like a never-ending puzzle, doesn't it? You're constantly decoding signs, looking for synchronicities, and trying to piece together the meaning behind every experience. And if you're watching this video, you're probably familiar with that feeling. But here's the thing: most people fail the final test. I'm talking about 99.9% of Ascension souls who don't make it through. They get stuck in the same traps, the same cycles, over and over again. But you're different. You're here for a reason, and today we're going to dive deep into why most people fail this test and how you can be in that 0.1% who makes it through. Now, before we go any further, I need you to understand something important. This isn't your typical spiritual challenge. This isn't just about meditating more or reading the right books. No, this test is something deeper, something that challenges the very core of who you are. It's the moment when the universe looks you in the eye and asks, "Are you ready to transform? Are you ready to let go of everything you thought you knew and step into something completely new?" Most people, when faced with this question, hesitate. They pull back. Why? Because transformation is terrifying. The unknown is terrifying. And here's the kicker: the universe doesn't give you a roadmap. It doesn't whisper in your ear, "This is exactly what's going to happen next." No, the final test is about trust. It's about surrendering control. And for 99.9% of people, that's where they fail. They can't let go. They cling to their old identities, their old beliefs, their old stories, and in doing so, they miss the opportunity for true ascension.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
But let's pause here for a moment. I want you to ask yourself a deep question. What are you holding on to right now? What belief, what fear, what identity is keeping you from stepping into the next phase of your journey? You see, the final test doesn't come with fireworks and dramatic moments. It comes in the small, quiet spaces. It shows up when you're alone with your thoughts, when you're faced with a decision that could change everything. And in that moment, you have to decide: do you cling to the familiar or do you leap into the unknown? Now, here's where most people get it wrong. They think that to pass this test, they need to do more. They try to force their way through, thinking that if they just push harder, meditate longer, or manifest with more intensity, they'll make it. But that's not how this works. The final test is not about action. It's about being. It's about allowing yourself to become the vessel for transformation, instead of trying to control the process. Let me give you an example. Picture a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. It doesn't rush the process. It doesn't try to force its way out. It simply surrenders to the transformation. It allows the process to unfold naturally, trusting that on the other side, it will emerge as something completely new. That's exactly what you're being called to do right now. You're in the cocoon, and the final test is asking you to surrender, to trust, to allow the transformation to happen without trying to control it. But most people, 99.9% of people, fail because they can't surrender. They're too afraid of what might happen if they let go. They're too attached to their old selves, their old stories. And so they stay stuck, trapped in the cocoon, never fully realizing their potential. So how do you pass this test? How do you become part of that 0.1% who makes it through? It starts with trusting yourself, trusting the universe, and trusting the process. But it doesn't stop there. You also need to let go of the need for certainty. You need to be willing to step into the unknown, even if it scares you. Because here's the truth: the unknown is where the magic happens. It's where your transformation takes place. It's where you discover the parts of yourself that you never even knew existed. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds great, but how do I actually do that? How do I let go when every part of me is screaming to hold on? And that's a fair question. Letting go isn't easy, especially when it feels like the stakes are so high. But this is where the practice comes in. This is where you begin to cultivate the inner strength and resilience to face the unknown without fear. Let's talk about fear for a moment. Fear is the #1 reason why 99.9% of Ascension souls fail this test. Fear of failure, fear of losing control, fear of the unknown. But here's the thing: fear is an illusion. It's a construct of the mind designed to keep you safe, to keep you in the familiar, to keep you from stepping into the unknown. And in most cases, fear serves a purpose. It keeps us from walking into dangerous situations. But when it comes to spiritual ascension, fear is the very thing that holds you back. So how do you overcome fear? How do you move past the illusions that your mind creates? The answer is simple, but not easy. You face it. You acknowledge the fear, you feel it, and then you move through it. You don't try to push it away or ignore it. You simply allow it to exist without letting it control your actions. And in doing so, you begin to disarm fear. You begin to take away its power. Let me ask you, when was the last time you faced something that scared you? How did you respond? Did you retreat, or did you move forward despite the fear? This is the key to passing the final test. It's not about eliminating fear. It's about moving forward in the presence of fear. It's about trusting that even though you don't know what's on the other side, you're going to be okay. Now, I want to shift gears for a moment and talk about something that's equally important: patience. Most people fail this test because they're in a rush to ascend. They want the results now. They want the transformation to happen overnight. But that's not how this works. Spiritual ascension is a process. It's a journey. And like any journey, it takes time. You can't rush it. You can't force it. You have to allow it to unfold in its own time. Think about the last time you planted a seed. You didn't stand over it, shouting at it to grow faster, did you? No, you watered it, you gave it sunlight, and then you waited. You trusted that, in time, the seed would sprout and grow into something beautiful. That's exactly how spiritual ascension works. You plant the seeds through your intention, your practice, and your willingness to grow. And then you trust the process. You allow the universe to do its work. And in time, you will see the results. But here's the thing: 99.9% of people don't have the patience to wait. They get frustrated when they don't see immediate results, and they give up. They think that because they haven't ascended yet, they never will. But that's not true. The universe works in its own time, and sometimes the greatest transformations take the longest to unfold. So, let me ask you, are you willing to be patient? Are you willing to trust the process, even if you don't see immediate results? Because if you are, if you can cultivate that patience, you will be part of the 0.1% who passes this test. Now that we've touched on trust, patience, and the process of letting go, let's dive into something that most people overlook: the unseen forces guiding your ascension. These are the energies, synchronicities, and subtle nudges from the universe that are constantly working behind the scenes, pushing you toward your higher self. And here's the truth: most people miss them. They're too focused on the noise, the distractions, the external world. But you're going to learn how to align with these forces. You're going to tune in, and once you do, everything will change. You see, the universe is always speaking to you. Always. Whether it's through repeating numbers, a song you keep hearing, or a sudden shift in your emotions, these are not random events. They are messages. They are signs that you're being guided. But here's where 99.9% of Ascension souls fail: they don't pay attention. Or worse, they dismiss these signs as mere coincidences. They ignore the whispers of the universe because they're too busy trying to control the narrative themselves. But 0.1%, the ones who pass this test, they know better. They've learned to listen, to observe, to follow the breadcrumbs that the universe lays out. And this is what you need to do. You need to become aware of the subtle forces that are guiding you. These forces won't always scream at you. They won't always make themselves obvious. But they are always there, gently nudging you in the right direction. Think about it like this: imagine you're trying to navigate through a dense forest. You can't see the path ahead. It's dark, and the trees are thick. But every now and then you see a flicker of light in the distance. It's subtle, but enough to give you a sense of direction. This light is like the synchronicities in your life. They are subtle, but they are there to guide you. Your job is to trust them, to follow them, even when you don't know exactly where they're leading you. So let me ask you, when was the last time you noticed a synchronicity? Did you pay attention, or did you brush it off? Because here's the thing: these signs are not random. They are the universe's way of communicating with you. Every time you see the same number sequence, or a person you haven't thought about suddenly shows up in your life, or you get that gut feeling that you just can't shake, that's the universe talking to you. It's saying, you're on the right path. Keep going. But here's the challenge: most people are so consumed by their own thoughts, their own fears, their own need for control, that they miss these signs. They're too busy looking at the obstacles in front of them to notice the signs pointing them in the right direction. And this is where they fail. They lose faith in the process. They stop trusting that the universe is guiding them, and they try to force their way through. But the 0.1%, they don't force anything. They flow. They align themselves with the energies that are guiding them, and in doing so, they move through life with ease. And this is what you need to do. You need to align with the energies that are guiding your ascension. This means tuning in, listening, and trusting that even when things don't make sense, even when the path ahead seems unclear, you are being guided. But here's the key: you can't just wait for the signs to come to you. You have to actively engage with them. You have to be present, aware, and open to receiving the messages that the universe is sending you. Let's get practical for a moment. How do you align with these unseen forces? It starts with mindfulness. You need to cultivate a daily practice of tuning into the present moment. Whether that's through meditation, journaling, or simply taking time to sit in silence, You need to create space for the universe's messages to come through. You can't hear the whispers of the universe if your mind is constantly filled with noise. You need to create stillness. You need to create space. But it doesn't stop there. Once you start noticing the signs, you need to act on them. You need to trust that these synchronicities are leading you in the right direction, even if they don't make logical sense. Because here's the truth: the universe doesn't operate on logic. It operates on energy, on intuition, on alignment. And if you try to make sense of everything through your logical mind, you're going to miss the magic. You're going to miss the flow. So let me ask you, when was the last time you followed your intuition, even when it didn't make sense? Because that's the kind of trust you need to cultivate. You need to be willing to follow the signs, to follow the energy, even when it defies logic. That's how you align with the unseen forces guiding your ascension. Now, I know this isn't easy. We've been conditioned to rely on our logical minds, to plan, to strategize, to control. But the final test of ascension is not about control. It's about surrender. It's about trusting that you are being guided, even when you can't see the full picture. And when you do that, when you truly let go and trust the process, you will unlock a level of flow, of alignment that most people never experience. But here's where it gets even deeper. These unseen forces are not just guiding you, they are testing you. They are watching to see how you respond. They are throwing obstacles in your path, not to block you, but to see if you will trust them enough to keep going. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of doubt is part of the test. It's the universe asking you, are you ready? Are you willing to trust me, even when things get tough? And this is where 99.9% of ascension souls fail. They hit a roadblock, and instead of trusting the process, they revert back to their old patterns. They try to force their way through. They try to control the outcome, and in doing so, they miss the magic. They miss the flow. But the 0.1%, they trust. They know that every obstacle is an opportunity to deepen their trust, to strengthen their alignment, to prove to the universe that they are ready. So let me ask you right now, how do you respond when things don't go your way? Do you trust that the universe is still guiding you, or do you try to force your way through? Because that's the difference between passing and failing this test. It's not about avoiding obstacles. It's about how you respond to them. It's about trusting that even when things seem to be falling apart, they are actually falling into place. This is the essence of aligning with the unseen forces guiding your ascension. It's about recognizing that every moment, every experience, every challenge is part of the process. And it's about trusting that the universe is always working in your favor, even when it doesn't seem like it. Now, I want to leave you with this thought. What would your life look like if you fully trusted the process? What if, instead of trying to control everything, you allowed the universe to guide you? What if you followed the signs, trusted the synchronicities, and surrendered to the flow? Because when you do that, when you truly align with the unseen forces, everything changes. You stop fighting against life, and you start flowing with it. And in that flow, you find the peace, the clarity, and the power that you've been searching for. Now that you've begun to understand how to align with the unseen forces guiding your ascension, let's take this even further. Because here's where things get really interesting. The final test doesn't just challenge you. It also reveals the power that has been dormant inside you all along. And once you pass this test, once you truly align with the universe, you unlock a level of potential that most people never even come close to accessing. Let's be clear, this isn't about gaining some new ability or receiving a gift you didn't have before. No, this is about uncovering the power that has been within you from the very beginning. It's about realizing that everything you need for your ascension, for your transformation, is already inside of you. The universe doesn't give you anything you don't already have. It simply strips away the layers of fear, doubt, and resistance that have been blocking your true potential. And that's what this final test is designed to do. But here's the thing, 99.9% of people never reach this point. They never unlock their full potential because they get stuck in the earlier stages of the journey. They fail the test because they're not willing to let go of the very things that are holding them back. But you're different. You've come this far and you're ready. You're ready to access the power that's been waiting inside of you, waiting for you to step into it. So how do you unlock this dormant power? It starts with one crucial realization: you are not who you think you are. The identity you've constructed, the labels you've placed on yourself, the stories you've been telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of, these are not the truth. They are illusions. They are the result of conditioning, past experiences, and societal expectations. And as long as you cling to this false identity, you will remain limited. But the moment you let go of that identity, the moment you realize that you are so much more than the stories you've been telling yourself, you begin to access your true potential. You begin to tap into the infinite power that resides within you. And this is where the final test comes in. It forces you to confront your false identity. It challenges you to let go of everything you thought you knew about yourself. And in doing so, it reveals the truth of who you really are. Let me ask you something. What limiting beliefs do you still hold about yourself? What stories are you telling yourself about what you can or can't do, what you're capable of, or what's possible for you? Because these stories are the very things keeping you from unlocking your true potential. They are the chains that are holding you back. And the final test is designed to break those chains. But it's up to you to let them go. Here's the truth: you are far more powerful than you realize. You have the ability to create your reality, to manifest your desires, to shape your life in ways that most people can't even comprehend. But you'll never access that power if you're still holding on to the belief that you're limited. The universe is waiting for you to step into your full potential, but it won't force you to do it. You have to choose. You have to be willing to let go of your old identity, your old stories, and step into the unknown. And this is where 99.9% of Ascension souls fail. They're not willing to let go of their limitations. They're not willing to step into their full power because deep down they're afraid. Afraid of failure, afraid of failure, afraid of success, afraid of what it means to truly be powerful. But the 0.1%, they understand that fear is part of the process. They understand that in order to unlock their true potential, they need to confront their fears, face their doubts, and move through them. So how do you do this? How do you unlock your dormant potential and pass the final test? It starts with awareness. You need to become aware of the limiting beliefs that are holding you back. You need to start paying attention to the stories you're telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. And then you need to challenge those stories. You need to ask yourself, is this really true? Is it really true that you're not capable of achieving your dreams? Is it really true that you're not powerful enough to create the life you desire? Or are these just stories you've been telling yourself out of fear? Once you've identified these limiting beliefs, the next step is to let them go. This can be one of the hardest parts of the journey because for most of us, these beliefs have been with us for a long time. They've become part of our identity. But here's the thing, your true identity is not your beliefs. Your true identity is the infinite, powerful being that exists beneath those beliefs. And the moment you let go of the false beliefs, you begin to access that true identity. But it doesn't stop there. Letting go of limiting beliefs is just the beginning. Once you've cleared the space, you need to actively step into your power. You need to start living from a place of empowerment rather than fear. This means taking responsibility for your life, for your energy, and for your actions. It means recognizing that you are the creator of your reality and that the universe is always responding to the energy you put out. Let me ask you, how different would your life look if you fully stepped into your power? What would you do if you truly believed that you were capable of creating anything you desired? Because that's the reality that's available to you once you pass this final test. But it requires you to step up. It requires you to take action. It requires you to stop playing small and start living from your full potential. And here's the beautiful part. Once you unlock your dormant power, everything changes. You start to attract opportunities, people, and experiences that are aligned with your true self. You start to manifest your desires with ease. You start to live in a state of flow, where everything seems to fall into place effortlessly. This is the reward for passing the final test. This is the life that awaits you on the other side. But here's the catch: 99.9% of people never get there. They never unlock their full potential because they give up too soon. They get stuck in their old patterns, their old beliefs, and they never take that final leap into the unknown. But you're different. You're here right now because you're ready. You're ready to unlock your power. You're ready to step into your full potential. You're ready to pass the final test. So let me leave you with this final question. Are you willing to step into your true power? Are you willing to let go of the stories, the fears, and the doubts that have been holding you back? Because if you are willing to take that leap, the universe will respond. It will open doors you never even knew existed. It will guide you, support you, and help you unlock the potential that has been waiting inside you all along. You are on the edge of something incredible. The final test is not the end, it's the beginning. It's the moment when you step into the person you were always meant to be. So take a deep breath, trust the process, and step into your power.